This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
This episode of the 1911 podcast is brought to you by Coral, the proud sponsor of the TalkSport Fan Network. Here for all kinds of fans. For the armchair experts who didn't have enough city points to make that away game. For the football fashionistas that wear claret and amber with pride. And for the nostalgia merchants, because nothing beats the history makers. Whatever kind of fan you are, with Coral's free-to-play reward shaker, win a guaranteed daily reward or offer throughout the season. Simply shake your phone to win. Over 18s only, maximum one reward or offer per player per day, 8am to 8pm. Reward restrictions and requirements and other T's and C's apply. For more information on safer gambling, visit gambleaware.org.
This episode is proud to be sponsored by Now, where you can stream Sky Sports flexibly. Catch the biggest games this season how you want, when you want. The football season is back, and you can keep up with all the action on Sky Sports with a Now membership. Whether you're perched on the edge of your sofa or hiding behind it, you can capture more of the drama this season with Now. The heat of the moment, the 90th minute winner, that last-ditch tackle, the pride on the line, and the best bit, you can dip in for the derby or stay for the season. With a Now month membership, you can stream all Sky Sports channels flexibly. No fuss. Go to nowtv.com to find out more about sports memberships. 18 plus, UK only. Minimum speed 2.5 megabits per second. Live scheduling may be subject to change. Full terms apply.
City end their 6-year stay in League Two with a late winner against Fleetwood, sending them up automatically at Warsaw's expense. Join us for a breakdown of a dramatic day at a sold-out Valley Parade. This is the 1911 podcast.
We're League One. We've done it. Can you believe it? Has it sunk in yet? It hasn't fully sunk in. I think today's the day it's where it's started to dawn on me. I'm gonna get it in there early. We 100% deserved it. Absolute pandemonium. Valley Parade. I've never once been a part of something. This for me totally tops Chelsea, the Capital One Cup. Everything we've achieved in my lifetime. I wasn't lucky enough to go to Wembley or like that for 96. And I won at Molineux to go into Prem. So to be there yesterday, feeling that atmosphere, first thing in the morning, I've never seen Bradford so full. At 9:30 in the morning, a sea of claret and amber. Incredible, right?
Yeah, well, definitely for me as well. I was sort of talking about it sort of after the match. And like you say, with sort of the big games we've had in the Cups over the years and the last promotion with against Northampton 12 years ago, I wasn't really old enough to like properly experience all that. So having a proper opportunity to see my team get promoted and have all the opportunities to relive those limbs and those moments properly without being a kid was actually amazing. It was brilliant. And that's why I think, like you say, it tops a lot of the cup experiences I've had, because I was at Chelsea, I was at Wembley the 3 times we've had over the past sort of 10 years. Yeah, this definitely tops all of them.
Yeah, I think it tops it for me as well. Sometimes you forget as an old figure, you know, a lot of the younger ones have not been able to see it. I'll give a little special mention out to my mate Kofi as well. So Kofi, who got to experience it really for the first time, real promotion, and seeing how much it meant for him, how much it meant to us all. It was phenomenal. It was it's definitely my favourite moment in football. It wasn't until it happened, or even a little bit after that. It was pretty traumatic, but it was just something that I'll never ever forget. And seeing Bradford come together like it did on Saturday was just something I'll never ever forget. I wish I could do it again, just like Andy said about, you know, the fans and just seeing what it meant to everyone. North Parade before the game was just unbelievable. I've never experienced anything like that. And this is League Two and not anymore. But also after the game with all the players coming out, it was unbelievable. I also want to just quickly as well, before we do get into it all, just also put out a little message about some of the content that we've had from some of the creators in the last couple of days as well. Around the grounds, you might have seen a couple of characters from here on there. Corbin Rayner, I thought was absolutely brilliant. And Sam Drake, your video, mate, made me cry last night watching it. So if you haven't had a chance to watch them yet, make sure you watch them because some of the content has been absolutely phenomenal.
It has. It's been incredible. Like content creators, fans alike. I think we'd have all preferred it to be more like the Northampton game in the playoff final where we were 3-0 up at half time. But I'll tell you what, 96 minute, you can't write that sort of drama. And as much as it didn't do any good for my blood pressure, it was the best way to go up. It really was. It was special scenes, really, really special. I was lost for words, hugging random people. The total togetherness on such a poignant day as well, where me and Chris was sat. We had this old gent next to us. He were actually in the fire. I'd never met him before, but he was sobbing his heart out, bless him, during minutes. That set me off. We were both hugging. But then after the game, the total elation. It's the things you live for in football. This is what the sport does to you. It gets into your veins. And I know we're a bit premature, our fans going on the pitch straight after we scored, and I want to impress with it. But you lose your head. 1 minute you just stood in your seat. Next minute, I can understand why you're all the way down at halfway line. This is what this football does to you as a fan. And this club, this is what it means. This is an identity. It's a family. When we achieve something, to celebrate in such a way, seeing the entire city come together. I went out in Bradford after the game and there were no worries about any trouble kicking off or anything like that. We were all just celebrating. It's not very often you get them sorts of feelings. Like Chris said, I wish I could just relive it. But getting over it, I'm mighty knackered today.
Well, the club have done so much good work, and the press as well, all the team at the BBC, they've done such a fantastic job of covering not just the season up to this point, but today especially. I thought they were all on it. The club clearly were ready for the eventuality with all the social media we've had over the past 24 hours that's still going on. You know, they're still waking up in the morning saying we've got more stuff to show you, we've got more videos, we've got more pictures, and long may that continue because we're all just drinking it in.
I can't wait for Inside Match Day.
Yeah, it's going to be phenomenal, isn't it?
Bradford City admin, if you do listen to this, where is it? We need it sharpish. Like I need that stuff injected.
Well, it's gonna be. Well, they might have to split it up into two parts. You never know because they might have a match
film.
And then it's going to be a proper feature film. Spielberg directing everything, but they might split it up into the match and then sort of a night on the town sort of thing. You never know.
But it's the Bradford way, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Way. You know, we talk about it all the time and gone on EFL Debate, for instance, and they always go, go on, say it, Chris. Go on, say it. It's the Bradford way. It is, and with the 96th minute goal, it was the Bradford way. Again, we had to do it in the last minute.
Well, I find it kind of poetic. We started Walsall's demise by beating them. And at that point, we were what, in 10th, 12th place? They were running away with title. And then on Saturday, they think they've won it. They think they've got automatic promotion. They're starting to celebrate with the fans. Then all of a sudden, Crew fans just turn up in raptures. The news has come through that City scored in 96th minute. They all drop. And don't get me wrong, I feel sorry for them. It's heartbreaking. But we've been on the other end of that too many times. So I'm going to bask in that glory that we finally... Don't get me wrong, we limped over the line, but we got over it. We didn't stop going. And I think that's the mantra that Alexander's installed in this team is, regardless of what's going on, these boys, in fairness, for all the false dawns, all the bottling and all that we've talked about over the last few weeks, they kept going. That's the mantra he's installed in this squad over the last 18 months, and it really came to fruition. I couldn't think of a better person to be at the wheel at Bradford City than Graham Alexander for me. I
don't feel sorry for Walsall. I think I'd like to get this out here early. I think if we'd have let them back into that auto spot, that would have been unforgivable with the run they have been on. I think they would have known how much they had gotten away with it, and they didn't You can't expect to go up automatically when you've only won, what was it, 1 in 14, was it, to finish with?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I spent a bit of time yesterday because I literally just watched vlogs all day, and I watched a couple of videos on Walsall. I think there's been a bit of confusion around the players, or that the fans didn't know. They did know because crew made sure that they knew. What happened was that the players came to the fans at the end of the game to go, have we done it? Is it over? And the Walsall fans already knew that Bradford were winning. Obviously, the game carried on for a little bit longer because of the pitch invasions, but they were very much aware at the end what had happened. So I'll put that myth to bed, as I say. But I think what you mentioned as well, Andy, and I think that one thing for us is that, we're not experts on football, but we're very passionate about it. And we have talked about, I'm going to mention this for the last time, mental fortitude. Okay. I don't think we've got any questions about that. And I'm really proud of this team. We're passionate fans, and we really want the best for this club. I've called out Smallwood, I've called out Aidan Baldwin. And I think that on Saturday showed actually, what it meant to them as well. Aidan coming out after the game, apologising. I know a friend of mine who had a conversation with him actually after the game, and he was absolutely devastated with Aidan about the whole situation. That's what we wanted. We did say that we wanted to see an apology. Anyway, listen, I think we forget about all that. We don't want to talk about any negative.
I think it does go to show, though, that I know we've been calling out that there isn't a mental fortitude within this team, but I think it is. When you look at Sars, I read he did a piece, I think it was at TNA or whatever, he's saying that this is the best promotion he's ever had. When he missed that sitter from 6 yards, he's come out and officially said in the article that he was actually crying. He hit the floor and he was crying. He thought he'd ballsed it up. But he had enough in him to go again. Don't get me wrong, he knew naff all about the goal. He knew nothing. And he openly admits it. He doesn't even know if it hit him.
I've watched it back a few times from perspectives of the cop, and I generally don't think it hits him. I think it hits their defender and goes in. I don't think it comes off him at all. But it doesn't. It does not matter. It does not matter.
No, it don't matter. But for him to be able to pick himself back up from missing a sitter to then 30 seconds later, even if he's not touched it, he's done enough to be in and around that defender's space to make the defender swipe. He's done his job. The scenes, 96th minute. You just can't write it. That's movie script writing, that is, if you ask me. That's something you expect to see in a blockbuster movie rather than in real life. You just can't write it. But we could go on about it all day long, all the scenes. But shall we tear apart what was really, in fairness, a pretty dire game of football, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, we were really poor. I actually liked the way we started. I thought, with all the home form we've had, we could have gone guns blazing at them, but I don't think that would have been the right move. The slow and steady approach actually was better, to try wear down their nerve, Fleetwood's nerve, and just slowly get at them rather than go guns blazing and risk being hit on the counter and then having more to do than we actually did. It worked for a long while, obviously, until it wasn't working when we started panicking, obviously, because we knew the players and the fans had realised that Walsall had scored and we needed to do something on our end. And then, obviously, when we started getting a bit panicked, the measured approach went out the window.
Let's, break it down a bit. So, first half, not much going on, is there? But Sam Walker pulls off a save that is arguably just as important as the 96th minute.
Yeah.
Because Fleetwood turned up for a draw at best. They turned up to put an end to our promotion hopes. All they were doing, putting 11 men behind the ball. It was hard to break down, and you could see that City looked nervous. We looked bereft of ideas at times. But Sam Walker pulling off that save, arguably one of the biggest contributions of the season.
Yeah, and they kind of ripped us open, to be honest with you, because the ball across the box, into the middle of the box, was a great ball. And he's literally, 5 yards out, if that. granted, it is slightly at Sam. However, I'm not going to take that away from Sam. It's not his fault. It is kind of, I think it's one of those that if he hits it anywhere else, it's probably going in. But that kind of already makes you think that maybe it's going to be your day.
Hey, you weren't saying that on day, pal.
Oh, no, you said it's just as important as, it is as important as that 96th minute goal, but it is pretty much at him. I'm not knocking the save. Sam's got to do what he's got to do. There's nothing from me that's going to be negative about that. I think more a case of he gets himself in front of the ball, which is exactly what he needed to. That's his job as a goalkeeper, and he's a good save. Again, this isn't any negativity towards that whatsoever. There's no but either. So for me, that's what I thought anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean that was the only chance they had, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was the only one I think of, which is despicable because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but Pete Wild came out in midweek in his pre-match interview and said, "Oh, we're going to play with freedom. We're not going to worry about the occasion. We're just going to come and play our football." Did they balls come and play their football? They sat with 11 men behind the ball.
It were poor, but I don't think we helped ourselves either. As Chris will attest to, he don't believe Bradford City have a set piece coach at all in the backroom staff because that set piece routine just.
I have something to say about this, and we mentioned this sort of at half time in our WhatsApp group, and I thought the short corners were catching them out for the first sort of 15-20 minutes that we were doing them, and then at about half an hour into the match, we did one, and they'd obviously they're going short every time, so they just came short with us, and that should have been the sign to not go short anymore, to just send it in the box. But we did it about 2 or 3 more times after that. So, yeah, just inability to see that was slightly frustrating. But as soon as we did put it in the box, we caused havoc. We hit the bar, didn't we? And the keeper tipped one over it. People were calling for us to go more direct, and we did.
I think, we needed to go more direct. I do think we were playing with a bit of fear. Obviously, a big occasion. You can understand it. But I thought Smallwood had a really good game. You could tell that he were back. I didn't feel like we were under threat at any point, and I felt comfortable with our defence, barring that one chance they had. But yeah, when we started going more direct, we started making a few more inroads. But there were a lot of players that were off the game, whether it was the occasion, whether they were just knackered from the long season, whatever. But when we get into the second half, then I thought Alexander bringing off Smallwood to go for it were a big statement.
That was a massive call, wasn't it? Yeah. And it kind of went under everyone's noses, I think, at the time, because we were all obviously collectively bricking it. Because at that point, Walsall were winning. To make that decision is huge. And also, to credit to him for bringing on... It was Lee who came on for him, wasn't it? So
Lee came on for Pato.
Right.
Smallwood, it was Lapsley who came on for Smallwood.
Right.
Was the foul on Pato in first half? I want to hear your two thoughts.
It was a yellow, nothing more.
Yeah,
I totally agree. Right, okay, so
he wasn't through on goal. I think the goal was covered, and it was a nasty one. But I don't think it was a red card.
It's not as if he's clipped him. He's proper scythed him. Like his thigh is what connects.
His come off.
Yeah, exactly.
His come off. Like I don't know what the damage is we're looking at there. I think it might be a dead leg more than anything else because he did carry on till half time, so he got that shot off and. He was like, nah, something's not feeling quite right. Afterwards, he seemed to be moving pretty sprightly.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Yeah, I think you're right. And maybe potentially that it could have been slightly tactical as well. Potentially it was. I think he was a little bit quieter than we are used to with Pato. I think maybe he was trying a bit too hard, but maybe it was a case of that he wasn't too sure on whether he could continue, but the decision was then made. It could have been anything. It could have been tactical.
He was dropping very deep in that first half to try get involved in the game and collect the ball. He was deeper than Smallwood for most of that first half.
Yeah, he was. But either way, I thought Alexander got his subs right.
Spot on.
We've been quite critical of his subs lately, but I think again he got them spot on. I do want a special mention, Jack Shepherd for striker.
Yeah, as I said to you after the game, Andy, I said that maybe if if it doesn't always go well for him as a defender, I think he's got potential as a forward as well, because he was right up there, wasn't he? He was right in amongst it, and I didn't mind it. I thought he played really well up there. So, I mean, usually when you have your defenders going up forwards, it doesn't always work, does it? But I thought Jack looked really good up there. So when he signs for us from Barnsley in the summer, maybe that could be something. If we're struggling in a game, we'll put Jack up there again.
Are you going to say the same about Neil Byrne up front?
Probably not. I probably wouldn't do that. But yeah, no, I think he played really well. And I also want to put out another little message as well. But I thought George Lapsley, when he came on, totally changed the game.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out. I think the combination for the goal was it Lee to Lapsley? Yeah, and then obviously off Sarcevic.
Yeah, I've watched that goal about 100 times now. I can see it in my head right now. I can see it from all the different angles I've seen it from.
Time just stopped, didn't it? It just seemed to take an absolute age to roll, and it was like everything just slowed down. Keeper were like wrong-footed, and he was taking his age to get over. It was such a weird goal, scrappy, awful goal, but it got us promotion, so it'll go down as one of the goals of the century in my book.
I mean, even think about just before that, and just think about, I know we've already touched on it, so I don't want to go into too much, but about the Sarcevic miss, where it was just quiet, everybody's and just going, I don't think we're going to do this. I think we've absolutely screwed this over. We've messed it up, and devastation I've seen a video, I don't know if anyone's seen it, the video of the little lad crying when Sarcevic misses that chance. And if you haven't watched it, I can't remember who brought the video out, but it's unbelievable. And it just like, everybody's just like, I can't believe it, we've thrown it away. But can we please talk about the limbs for that goal?
I mean, I've got bruises on my leg that I don't think will ever heal.
I've hugged people that, well, I've never spoken to in my life. The amount of love that were going off, the screaming. I sounded like a 12-year-old girl. It was disgraceful. Chris was crying his eyes out.
I'm not ashamed to say it.
It were unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. They're the sorts of feelings that you just crave and hope for as a football fan, and they don't come around often at all. So when they do, you're just so invested in it. All that outfeel of emotion, and especially for the folks that are directly affected by the fire disaster being such a special day, especially for them. It's a special day for all City fans, I'm not saying that, but for them, it's going to hold a bit more of a dearer point in their heart. For it all to happen and just come to fruition in such a cataclysmic way. Like I said earlier, it's the stuff dreams are made of. They'll write about that. I saw a clip, I'm not sure if it was Sky Sports or Talk Sport, and someone said that was a claret and amber tinted Aguero moment.
Yes, I want to say that was Talk Sport. I think it might have been.
But it's perfect. It's a perfect analogy for it.
It is. And when I thought back on it, when it's starting to dawn on me, that is exactly what it is, isn't it? I mean, for us to get promoted in those kind of scenes, that absolutely was our Aguero moment.
It was a bit less of a lethal strike, though, wasn't it?
I don't care.
It was an amazing run or an amazing strike. There were no skill involved. My 9-year-old daughter could have scored it.
It took 20 seconds to go in that goal. I swear, from off that foot, it took 20 seconds for that to trickle into the goal.
I do want to touch as well. So after the scenes, everybody runs on pitch. Now, try and hold it in till full-time whistle. I get that. I'm not going to berate people. Like I've already said, the emotions are that high. You don't know what you're doing. You're just going to a state of euphoria. But at that point, should the ref be really trying to restart the game? It were already back end of stoppage time. At that point, it was basically last kick at game anyway. Was there any point in him? And I know he's probably by the rules, he's kind of got to try and get it restarted, but is there a point?
I think it's tinted because of the second pitch invasion, which I think the club kind of dropped the ball on slightly by announcing the goal like after all the calm had settled. But I think the first pitch invasion was totally warranted. The second one was just stupid. But the crowd reacted sort of as you would have expected, and as we said to that. And then obviously the final one, that's the...
Well, I think there was confusion, wasn't there? Because I think that we thought the game had been that he'd blown full time, didn't we, Andy? So,
yeah, we thought. Did. I think that's why the second pitch invasion happened.
It definitely was.
Because we thought he'd blown up full time because it was literally at the death, wasn't it? So we thought he'd blown up full time. Second pitch invasion comes on, but no, Tannoy comes over. Going back to another tweet that I saw, which one tweet of the day yesterday for me, the red team leader needed to be available at that point. Where were he? Where are you?
He was the superhero we needed.
If there were ever a time for red team leader, and he's just gone walkabout, bless him.
It's because he never gets called out. He's red. What? I've got to do a job for a change.
Needed all the colours to be the Power Rangers team.
It were absolute carnage. I don't think the ref should have restarted the game. I can understand Pete Wilde, although it were a salty post-match interview. I can understand his demonstrations with the ref about his players' safety, because even though you're pitch invading and all that, and you shouldn't really be more focused on your own team's win rather than going up and getting in the face of the other team's players. I don't agree with that at all. So I could totally appreciate why he didn't want the game to be restarted. It were over the threshold, I believe it's like 86, 89 minutes, something along them lines, where if it's abandoned, the result stands anyway. So I think at that point, the ref just calls it and let's just get on with it. Everyone's safe and sound then. So premature endings apart, then full-time whistle goes. And again, absolute carnage and pandemonium.
I've been listening to Depeche Mode for the last 2 days. That's all I've been listening to is just can't get enough. It's going round in my head, round and round and round and round. What a great end to the match.
It was brilliant. And again, I started crying again. I've only cried 3 times. I'll have to say 3 times now at a football game. The first time was Chelsea when we went 4-2 up, and then 2 times at Valley Parade. So yeah, just the feeling, and I don't think anybody kind of grasped.
This podcast is brought to you by Coral, and they're here for the fans. At the Fan Network, we have a mission to shake up the game we all love, and that's why we partnered with Coral, who've been shaking things up too. With their free-to-play reward shaker, there are guaranteed rewards and exclusive offers to be won every single day. Whether you're a part of the Badging Brigade, the Away Dayers, or the Football Fashionistas, Coral's here for the fans. Play Coral's reward shaker and win bigger guaranteed daily rewards and offers this season. For over 18s only, maximum 1 reward or offer per player per day. Reward restrictions and requirements and other T's and C's apply. Visit gambleaware.org for more details.
This episode of the 1911 podcast is brought to you by Coral, the proud sponsor of the TalkSport Fan Network, here for all kinds of fans. For the armchair experts who didn't have enough city points to make that away game. For the football fashionistas that wear claret and amber with pride. And for the nostalgia merchants, because nothing beats the history makers. Whatever kind of fan you are, with Coral's free-to-play reward shaker, win a guaranteed daily reward or offer throughout the season. Simply shake your phone to win. Over 18s only, maximum 1 reward or offer per player per day, 8am to 8pm. Reward restrictions and requirements and other T's and C's apply. For more information on safer gambling, visit gambleaware.org.
What was going on and that we got promoted, and
it just I don't think it's sunk in for anyone.
It hasn't sunk in yet, Andy.
It's just absolute elation, vibes and emotion. It's so hard to put into words the feelings, to try and sit here and talk about it, actually convey it across in words. The feeling and emotion is such a difficult task because those emotions run so deep.
Absolutely. And I do want to talk about something very briefly as well. And I want to talk about the support that we've had from Stefan. There was a lot of questions about him on the investment side, and whether we were just, we talk about the mediocrity. And I think that obviously because of some of the work from other organisations or other boards and things like that came together, mentioned exactly what the club needed, and Stefan has listened and Stefan has supported. He's allowed us to bring in Sharp, who I think is probably the hidden gem behind all of this. Ryan Sparks has been able to do his job behind the scenes, and from the Ryan Sparks that we saw from the beginning, who was on Twitter, on social media, tweeting all the time, talking a lot to the fans. And I think Ryan has probably evolved as a CEO and has realised what his position is now. David has come in, has brought in the players, the infrastructure. You see the new coaches and things that we're bringing in behind the scenes that probably don't get mentioned much. The infrastructure behind the scenes is really coming along. And I think that, all three of them need massive praise for what's happened. Apparently, Rupp has told someone that he wants us in the Championship. That hopefully means to me that he's going to invest heavily again in the summer, whether he's got that money or another investor comes on board and gives us that support. It's exciting times, guys. And after the doldrums of League Two, it's time to see what happens in League One, and it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, I think what most people would say about Sparks is that his job when he first came in was not to be a politician, which he tried to be. He was constantly on social media and things like that, trying to defend himself or his actions or the club or things like that. That wasn't his job to do. But he, like you say, he has taken a back seat, and I think just that stability in the club is what's allowed us to actually be successful. Because when clubs are in turmoil, there's things happening behind the scenes, whether that's ownership trouble or a lack of structure in the club itself. You can absolutely tell. Look at Man United at the moment, who are absolutely dross. They cannot string two passes together. And it's because they've got so many problems behind the scenes with not just the owners, but the entire structure of the club that hasn't changed since the 90s, probably. And it's finally catching up with them. And that's the thing with Bradford, I think, that we've had that stability. And that's what's changed the fortunes on the pitch, is having all the right people in the right places to manage the club.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think for me as well, I got a bit of an insight into Stefan Rupp on socials. So he put on his Insta with a pitch invasion that he's happy to pay the EFL fine. So it's a tongue-in-cheek comment, I know, but for me, that's showing somebody that's now he's taking an interest. We don't know the ins and outs, but it may not have been. He may have been taking an interest prior, but this season I feel like he has really stepped up. And like you say, a lot of credit goes to him. Ryan, I think he's always done amazing work in regards to getting our commercials in. That's been incredible over the last few years. But now he can focus on running Bradford City as an organisation and not having to focus on the football. David Sharp, absolute revelation. And I think he's really linking up well with Graham and Stephen Gent. And it does feel like everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet for the first time in many a year. It shows dividends, doesn't it? At the end of the day, we got promoted for the first season in a long time. Everyone's singing the same hymn sheet. What happens? We go up.
Yeah.
And I think massive credit goes to the owner, to CEO, to director of football, all the backroom staff. I mean, even down to the data analysts. How many data analysts have City got? The backroom staff seems to be massive compared to what I've seen in previous seasons. We're heavily investing in making sure we're giving the manager and the players the best tools possible to be able to take this club forward. If Stefan, like you say, if he's got the brass to put into it, or if he needs to get another investor, I'm sure he'll be looking into it to help us go further. But I can't see any reason why he wouldn't want to invest further to help us go up that next step.
I think it's also a case, and I think you're right. And the other thing I think that's really important that we do mention is that we have got the right man at the helm in Graham Alexander. I've always talked about this for years, and some of the managers that we brought in since Parkinson's, or even just before Parkinson, calling that conversation, of course, for obvious reasons, but people have never quite understood Bradford City and what it means to be a Bradford City manager. We look at Derek Adams; he didn't understand this club at all. Gary Bowyer didn't understand this club. Mark Hughes maybe slightly got it, but he certainly doesn't get it as much as Graham Alexander. Graham knows this club and what it means to these fans. He said on Saturday that this was his best promotion. So that kind of shows you how much he does love this football club, and he is absolutely the man.
I think he goes deeper than that with Graham as well, to show that he's got love for this club. He said as well, like, for the last month, all he's seen is the number 56 everywhere. Whether he's looking too deep into certain things or whatever, but 56 just constantly, he gets it. And he were always a workhorse in his playing career, and he's translated that into his current team, the lads. And it's a totally different sort of like playing style these days to when he started his career. To be able to get them having that work ethic of never say die attitude, to install that into this generation is a difficult thing to do, because let's face it, today's generation's hell of a lot softer than his. So to be able to get to knuckle down and not need a pat on the back because they've got beaten 1-0 at home or whatever, to be able to get that mental fortitude to be able to keep going is incredible. And that photo of him on someone's shoulders on the pitch with his fist in air, that's just peak Bradford City right there.
Right, I think it's time we move on to our classifieds, because we could talk all day about the scenes we've had and the promotion in itself, but we do need to move on because we're starting to ramble and we're starting to tear up as well. So there were some big stories elsewhere in League Two. At the top of the table, Doncaster winning the title away at Notts County with a 2-1 win because Port Vale failed to beat Gillingham, lost 1-0 at home. So Doncaster, your League Two champions. And then in the playoffs as well, we had a real change of hands that kind of went under the radar for us, obviously, massively focused on our own fortunes. But Chesterfield sneaking into that last playoff spot with a 1-0 win against Accrington after Salford got a 2-2 draw at Carlisle and Colchester got a 0-0 with Barrow at home. Wimbledon as well, beating Grimsby, allowed that to happen. I mean, good for them, because when we played them, they looked like a serious team.
I reckon they do Walsall as well. Walsall are going to be hanging out of their asses. Like, that's going to be devastating for them. Not only if they let a title slip, for them to not go up automatically the way they did, they're going to be burnt out. And I fancy Chesterfield to do them over 2 legs.
The thing is, the great thing about the playoffs is it is a complete lottery. But I don't think you can see past Chesterfield and Notts County for me. I think that they're the 2 strongest teams in that playoff run. Chesterfield are the form team. Looking at that game when we played them, there was potential that they could have ended up winning that 4-3. So, yeah, but there's always that team, isn't there, that on the last day or whatever, that just sneak in to the playoffs. And
This episode is proud to be sponsored by Now, where you can stream Sky Sports flexibly. Catch the biggest games this season how you want, when you want. The football season is back, and you can keep up with all the action on Sky Sports with a Now membership. Whether you're perched on the edge of your sofa or hiding behind it, you can capture more of the drama this season with Now. The heat of the moment, the 90th minute winner, that last-ditch tackle, the pride on the line, and the best bit, you can dip in for the derby or stay for the season. With a Now month membership, you can stream all Sky Sports channels flexibly. No fuss. Go to nowtv.com to find out more about sports memberships. 18 plus, UK only. Minimum speed 2.5 megabits per second. Live scheduling may be subject to change. Full terms apply.
We talk about momentum with the playoffs all the time. You think about when we went up through them in last time we were in League Two in 2012-13. We had the momentum behind us, and that is what you need for the playoffs, because they are unreasonably brutal. I love it. And I think every City fan will be saying the same thing well, almost every year we're not involved in them is thank God we're not involved in them because we get to enjoy them rather than thinking, oh God, we're next week.
You know what? This is it, and I am actually really looking forward to watching the playoffs.
Every year for me, every year.
Just chilled and enjoy it. Give you an example. So, like for instance, Doncaster fans are apparently trying to start a rivalry on Twitter and going on about the one that won the league. I couldn't care less. I genuinely couldn't care less. But I also don't. I'm really looking forward to watching the playoffs simply because I could just see who that team is. There's no worry. There's no stress. We'll see who that team is. Who is going to be in League One with us next season. And yeah, I'm quite looking forward to watching them.
I do think, looking at it, I'm going to stick my neck out. I do think it'll be a Chesterfield Notts County final because Wimbledon, from being here from their camp, they're knackered. They're done so. But I reckon Notts County, it's theirs to lose. I reckon they go with us.
I mean, it just depends which team turns up, and that goes for nearly all of them. I think we know Wimbledon have got that quality. Have they got something extra left in the tank? Walsall, for me, I think if their fans are talking about the same thing I'm about to say, but if we'd been 3-0 up at half time against Fleetwood, and they were like, oh well, we're not going to do it, then they might have had the ability to just draw a line under the season and go, right, well, we've still got an amazing opportunity here to go up and we need to take it. But because they had it ripped away from them, they might be out on their feet.
Even if that's the case, since they lost Low, they've done nothing. They're only in the playoffs now based on the fact that they had a good first half of the season. They've done nothing since Christmas.
I think if they weren't playing Chesterfield, they'd have a chance of making the final. Because I think Chesterfield are the one team that could really rip them apart because they have got that speed and clinicalness. Notts County, it just depends what team turns up. Because when we've seen Notts County in both games they've played us this season, we know the quality they have. They have the power to destroy any team in this league. But they were shocking, again, in multiple games in the last month. Salford, they were really poor yesterday against Doncaster, apparently. It just depends which team turns up. Again, I think they've got a really favourable draw playing Wimbledon. I think against Walsall or Chesterfield, they might have struggled. You never know which Notts County team is going to turn up. But I do see Notts County Chesterfield as being the final.
So who are we saying then? Who do we think is going to win the playoffs?
Well,
Notts County.
Well, which team would you like to come up, and which team do you think will come up?
I'd like Chesterfield to go up. I do like Chesterfield. Like, they're not the biggest club in the world, but I don't know. I've just got a little bit of love for them. But I do think it'll be Notts County.
I don't think any City fan wants to go back to Notts County after the last two away games we've had there. A harrowing 4-2 defeat and a harrowing 3-0 defeat. I'd like to see Chesterfield go up as well. I think they play much more exciting football, I think, than Notts. You know, we've talked about the lethal players they have, especially out wide with Dobra, and hopefully they go. I'd like to see them go up.
I'm Chesterfield as well. I'd like Chesterfield to go up. I think Chesterfield.
Yeah, it's a worse away day in terms of how many tickets we get and things like that. But
I think they've only given 500 tickets for the away for the.
That's ridiculous. That's really low.
So could you imagine if that was us, the 500 tickets?
There'd be a meltdown. We had a meltdown over the Doncaster tickets, and we got double, nearly triple what we'd have got at Chesterfield.
Are we agreed that it's probably Notts that if McGoldrick's on form, well, you saw the goal he scored against us. He pulls that out of the bag at Wembley. You're done, so aren't you? So
he's a big game player, isn't he? If that was the final, it will be a great one. But like you said, we don't have to worry about that at all. 4 other teams we don't have to worry about. Crawley, Bristol Rovers, Cambridge United and Shrewsbury all relegated from League One. We do not have to worry about all of those away days. Thank God, because I really did not want to go to Bristol Rovers. And I didn't want to go to Crawley either.
I hate Bristol Rovers ground, right, but that's near enough a home game for me. So
true,
from a selfish
point of view, yeah, but for City fans, no. But I'm happy as well because Burton is a good away day. It's slightly closer, not bad either. And League One playoffs as well. Stockport v Leyton Orient, Charlton v Wickham. Anyone you don't want to play or do want to play in League One next season?
Me and Andy were having a conversation about this before this, and I think that's possibly the most difficult playoff draw to actually work out who is actually going to win that one. I think all 4 teams are more than strong enough to win that. Leyton Orient, again, they're the form team. They've slipped in there. Charlton, when they get going, are incredible. They batter teams. Wickham are slightly out of form. Yeah.
Well, there's always, like you say about momentum, there's always one team that is sort of hanging on in there. Like, they've been in terrible form, or they've just been they've been stationary in the playoffs for a while without, jumping up to challenge for autos. In League 2 this year, you could argue that's maybe Notts, who have just fallen off the auto bandwagon slightly, or obviously Walsall, who are completely down on the luck. And that in the League 1 playoffs, it's Wickham, who have obviously dropped off the auto race in the last sort of month.
So your League 1 playoff semis, you've got Stockport versus Leyton Orient, and then Charlton Wickham.
Yep.
I fancy Leyton Orient against Stockport to get themselves in final, and I fancy Charlton against Wickham. So I'm going to go with an Orient Charlton final.
I think Stockport have got so much experience. I can't see past them, because they've clawed their way up into third from being sort of in Leyton Orient's position of trying to get into the playoffs. I think a Stockport Charlton final. I think it will be, and I think Stockport will go up. I mean, but like you say, that is the real one to look out for. And finally, your Championship relegations teams that City will be playing next season: Luton, Plymouth, and Cardiff, all coming down. Andy, very happy about Cardiff coming down.
Yeah,
nice away day for you.
I am indeed. I've got a lot of friends are looking forward to it as well. We're on about bringing them up, showing them what a proper curry tastes like. I don't think anybody fancies Luton, though, do they?
I think it's important to mention about Luton is that they still have a Premiership.
Yeah, they've got the parachutes, haven't they?
The parachute. So they've got the parachute payment for this season, so they get 2 years of that. So the interesting question with Luton is whether they're going to spend. I mean, I imagine that they will do. They could have plenty of money. They could potentially be. I mean, I don't expect them to be spending as much as Birmingham. I don't think anybody will ever do that again. But
parachute payment money, though, has that gone on paying for the upgrades they had to do to the stadium to play in the Prem? Because they had to do a massive upgrade to the stadium, didn't they, to get it up to code?
They've got a new ground coming.
They've had a new ground coming for the last 15 years. It's never going to happen, I think.
I think it is actually, they are actually starting with that. But I imagine quite a bit of money's gone into that. But I would also imagine that they're going to be spending on players as well. So they're probably a team to look out for next season. It's just, I mean, they've got a great manager in Matt Bloomfield who did a great job at Wickham. Obviously didn't save them from the drop. But they're potentially a team to look out for next season at Luton.
Are we slightly disappointed Preston and Hull didn't drop in?
Yeah.
I'd certainly rather do that as an away day than Plymouth. This might be a bit of a controversial take, but I think Deepdale is one of my favourite grounds in the EFL.
It's a great ground.
Absolutely. It's a brilliant ground. And it feels new and modern, yet so old and it's traditional. Yeah, it is a really, really good ground. And I haven't done Hull's ground yet, so that would have been a nice one to tick off. I'm happy with those three dropping in. They're three big teams. You'd imagine they'd be up there for going straight back up as well.
It's very northern, is League One.
Yeah, it is a fantastic League One next season. And on that, is there anyone you're looking forward to playing to?
Yes, one team straight away.
Yeah.
And you know who it's going to be?
Yeah. It's going to be Huddersfield. Yeah. I think everyone's looking forward to Huddersfield. But for me, it's because I've done Huddersfield. I've ticked it off with City. For me, I'm looking forward to Barnsley because I haven't done Oatwell. That's a ground I've just never been to. It's always fallen on dates I can't do. But there's, like you say, it is just such a good League One next season. I can't wait for it.
It's going to be incredible. It's going to be a journey. But for me, like, I'd like to go and Peterborough. I've not done Peterborough before.
That's another.
That's one I need to cross off. It's a lovely traditional ground. I've never crossed it off. So that for me is probably one of the standouts that I'd like to get to next year.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many good away days that are coming up. We've got to think about, we've got Bolton, Blackpool, Huddersfield, we've already mentioned. Lincoln as well is going to be a brilliant away day. Barnsley, Rotherham, Wigan, even Mansfield we're going to be going to. Peterborough, like you said. There's a lot of good away days in there that are going to be really fun.
Hopefully there won't be 3 trips for one league game down to Exeter.
Yeah, that's another one that sort of we are dreading. There are some worse ones, obviously. You're looking at Stevenage, we're going to have to do, and like I say, Exeter as well. It's not a great one. It's going to be a great league next season.
All in all, yeah, it's quite tight. I'm going to be intrigued to see the difference in mileage and whether that's going to help our away form next season. Playing at bigger grounds with bigger attendances. Obviously, the players that we've currently got are used to playing in front of Valley Parade. So can they translate that then into a bit better of away form? Because we cannot next season have away form that we've had this season. That's a story for another day.
That's the story for the next episode, I think, when we start our season roundup, which will be coming to you in dribs and drabs over the course of the summer. But last question I'm going to ask you, gents, is there an ideal game that you want as the first match of the League One season? Home or away? Any team?
Cardiff away would be nice because it'd be warm. Whenever we've played Newport or anything, it's always been absolutely freezing. So just Cardiff away whenever it's warm would be lovely.
Yeah, I think big ground team that will be looking to go straight back up. That could be quite a good shout. How about you, Chris?
For me, it's probably Huddersfield at home when we win 5-0.
I think something like that, a local game at home, whether that's a Bolton at home, Blackpool at home, Barnsley at home, something like that would be really good. You'd want obviously to be at home, but knowing our luck, probably first game of the season is Stevenage away. I can see it now when the fixtures do come out in June.
I would like Lincoln to be last game of the season.
That would be very poetic, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Which it was a few years ago as well, if you can remember. I can't remember how many years ago that was. I want to say it was the first season in League Two potentially under McCall. So I'm talking the previous time. I think I might be right. And that
so that's over what 15 years ago now.
Yeah, that's mad.
Before we do finish this wrap up, and I know we're droning on a little bit, but one final question on your final question, Ewan. Next season, are we going for back-to-back or are we consolidating?
Oh, we're consolidating. No way are we going back-to-back. I'd love Rupp to pull out his wallet, but I don't think any amount of wallet will get us up. You've got to look that next season, it is a really strong League One. So you're talking about, 3 out of Stockport, Charlton, Wycombe and Leyton Orient are staying in this league, and those are all, like we said, 4 strong teams. Then you've got Reading, Bolton, who will be looking to go up. Huddersfield will want to go back up. Barnsley are looking at a bit of a charge.
Reading's just been bought as well, hasn't it?
Yes, Reading have just been bought. That's a really good comment. There's so many teams, I think, without even talking about the teams that come down for the Championship, that will want to go up next season.
Yeah, a consolidation for me. So someone was asking me, mentioning about Luton, and I was like, don't really care. I just want us to consolidate next season.
Because if we carry our home form into next season, we are going to be absolutely fine. We're not going to have any trouble. And obviously the standard is going to raise, but I don't see why we can't also raise our game to that League One standard, because I've seen a lot of people obviously talking about the standard of League One, and I don't think there's too much difference between the top half of League Two and the bottom half of League One.
It'll suit our game more. There's going to be more expansive football. We're going to play teams that are actually going to want to play football and not put 10 men behind the ball. So I do think in a way that's going to work in our favour.
Yeah, absolutely. There'll be more passing on the floor, which suits us. We talked about a lot about the teams that come in and sit at Valley Parade, and that is our kryptonite, like the Tranmeres and the Fleetwoods that we struggle to break down. And there's going to be less teams like that, aren't there? But there's so much to look forward to for next season. And like I say, we'll be back for our season roundup very, very shortly. But thank you, gents, and thank you for the experience on Saturday. First time we were all together.
Absolutely, and thank you for everyone who listens to us. We weren't, as I mentioned last week, we weren't going to start this until the summer. I do want to say one thing though, lads. Take that seatbelt off, because we are off the roller coaster finally. We are in League One. We are there. We can say goodbye to League Two. City fans, enjoy it, because I tell you what, this is some moment and this is something that we can really enjoy. We're in League One, guys. Finally, we are there. And thank you, everyone, for listening. We are going to be carrying on in the summer. We will be doing little bits and pieces. So this isn't the end for us at the moment. We will carry on doing what we're doing. And thank you again for listening. And keep sharing. Keep telling people about us. And we'll see you in League One.
This episode is proud to be sponsored by Now, where you can stream Sky Sports flexibly. Catch the biggest games this season how you want, when you want. The football season is back, and you can keep up with all the action on Sky Sports with a Now membership. Whether you're perched on the edge of your sofa or hiding behind it, you can capture more of the drama this season with Now. The heat of the moment, the 90th minute winner, that last-ditch tackle, the pride on the line, and the best bit, you can dip in for the derby or stay for the season. With a Now month membership, you can stream all Sky Sports channels flexibly. No fuss. Go to nowtv.com to find out more about sports memberships. 18 plus, UK only. Minimum speed 2.5 megabits per second. Live scheduling may be subject to change. Full terms apply. This podcast is brought to you by Coral, and they're here for the fans. At the Fan Network, we have a mission to shake up the game we all love, and that's why we partnered with Coral, who've been shaking things up too. With their free-to-play reward shaker, there are guaranteed rewards and exclusive offers to be won every single day. Whether you're a part of the Badging Brigade, the Away Dayers, or the Football Fashionistas, Coral's here for the fans. Play Coral's reward shaker and win bigger guaranteed daily rewards and offers this season. For over 18s only, maximum one reward or offer per player per day. Reward restrictions and requirements and other T's and C's apply. Visit gambleaware.org for more details.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.